always been on my heart to go on a mission. It was just always so overwhelming, and the timing was never right. And I just respect people who can do that. So I had a friend, she's also a nurse, Shay Gallant, and she used to, when she was a little girl, she was younger than me, she went to church with these people in Georgia. And these people, John and Lynn Cunningham, 16 years ago, it came upon their heart to do some mission work. And they moved to the Dominican Republic. We were at Wandolio. That's where this mission is. It's the DR mission, the Dominican Republic vision, is what it is. And so when she said to me, hey, you want to go on a mission? I'm like, hey, sure. So it was a brief one. It was only a week. And, you know, it was a good first one for me. I mean, we weren't in huts and things like that. But, you know, we did have the privilege of serving some people who really needed us. Underprivileged people who did do a lot. And this our week, they credit it as a blessing, but as some of you know, in on missions, I was blessed more than anything. It's just an amazing feeling and humbling to go into some of these areas and just to see how people live and how grateful they are for what they have. And it just makes you feel guilty for every purse I own, every pair of shoes that's in my closet. But, you know, life on life's terms, they find their joy. And where we work, there's a lot of joy in Christ. So let me just kind of succinctly just tell you my days. We flew out on Friday night, or Friday morning, and the Vacation Bible School kids had taken up money, and I didn't know they were doing that. And it was a little over $600, and that all, Lisa, brought it to me the Sunday before I left, and I said, oh, okay, well, I wasn't expecting this, but I'm sure we can fix it. So first thing, we had a lot of extra supplies. We've been sending supplies for a couple of months, and the church donated, my unit at work donated, friends donated, and we send those things. Now, it's interesting when you send supplies to a place like this, the shipping. So you pay for standard shipping, and then you have to pay an extra $4 a pound for the privilege of them letting you take your stuff and so it is definitely one of those things where everybody gets a piece of the pie down there. So we loaded some things up and packed extra suitcases with us, and we thought that would help, you know, cut some of the cost of the shipping. We just take it with us. Well, we flew Spirit, and so right off the bat, an extra $200 for luggage, and I'm like, I got this, Shay. I have this money from the VBS and these beautiful children who saved their money all week long for this. So that was quite a blessing. We got there and they picked us up and they took us, and we were actually we were with our gated community, and so we were in a hotel that was it was nicer than the area where we were serving, but it came with its well, let me just say, I just didn't look when I got in the shower, right? You just do your stuff, and you just think, okay, this is a week, I got it better than everybody else because I have air conditioning and four walls that actually have windows and doors. And a lot of people that we were serving didn't have four walls, or they had four walls, and they didn't have windows or doors, and they had 30 floors. And they were grateful for what they had. And it was just really, it was impressive to me as we were driving through the area and we were picked up. I know there are areas in the Dominican Republic that are where you can go and vacation, and it's wonderful. Those are very small areas, and that's not real life. So again, I was struck by the abject poverty, the trash, the lack of infrastructure, and I think they know what it's brains are in the Dominican Republic. Their civil engineering probably is way behind. But when we got there was already torrential rain. But they picked us up and we got to our hotel and just kind of settled in the night. So that was our Friday night. Saturday morning we were picked up by Lynn Cunningham. She is the one who was our mission leaders here. And she takes care of the piece of the Dominican Republic vision, and she's the administrator of the school, Las Palmas. And Saturdays were her days off. So she came and she picked us up and we had breakfast. And she spent a couple of hours just kind of giving us an overview of everything. So the DR vision includes the school. They also had the Mercy workshop, and I'll explain a little bit more about that here in a minute. And then Lighthouse, and they also had a really functioning safe house. So we were primarily working with some children and then some women who had some special needs, and then some young girls who were in situations that they had to be rescued from. So after she told us, again, just blessed by listening to her talk about what they were doing and the thought of trying to be a part of that. And then she took and we toured everything. And that took several hours. And that really encompassed our whole day. And we tried to plan what we were going to do for the week. And of course, then the rains keep coming. And so that was it for Saturday. And then Sunday we got up and we were going to go to church. And so again, it's raining and we go to this humble little church. It's amazing what people, we're so blessed. I just don't even know how to say it, you know. Again, they don't have the doors, the windows, the systems. The sermon was in Spanish, but we had an interpreter in our ears. It was very nice. And just know the word of Jesus is being preached and proclaimed in the Republic. It was amazing. And we helped in the children's church. And then they had this group lunch, so we got to meet the minister and his family, and then all these other wonderful missionaries who were taking care of these particular pieces of the DR vision. So we met with those families who had just dedicated their lives to being there. And so mainly being with the children and helping in the children's church was our main thing for Sunday. So now I've been there 2 days, and I don't feel like I've done much. I just feel like I've been blessed and blessed and blessed. And but Sunday night, the rains got a lot worse. I don't know. I think Hurricane Ian was maybe a Category 3 when it came through. The main thing for us, we were always safe. There were high winds, but nothing really destructive for us. The main thing is the rain. So the Minister of Education will cancel schools. And actually, life just kind of stops when it's rain like this, because people have to stay home and literally push the water out of their houses because they don't have the adequate windows. And remember, they're dirt floors. But so this is a way of life. You know, it's raining heavily, so everybody stays home and pushes the water, right? And there was one gentleman who lived across from the church in this ramshackle wooden house, and he did lose his roof, and they had to rescue him out of his house. They put him in the church, so he had his belongings that they could get, and then the house got destroyed completely. And so they were having to figure out what to do with him, as well as the flooding in that area. So we couldn't get, as the missionaries, as Shay and I couldn't get back in there. And actually, I think they didn't really want us back in there because they're all worried about keeping us safe. And we're all like, what can we do to help? But, it would have been a liability, and they would have been thinking about us when they really needed to be working on their rescue missions. And so they literally use boats, like you see on CNN, and, they go and they get these people. But the water, it resided, and so that was pretty much it for Sunday. So Monday we're like, okay, we're gonna get started, right? But the Minister of Education had canceled the school, and we were planning to go to school. So we were grounded. So now it's Monday, and we are grounded in this hotel room. And Shay and I are like, we don't watch TV. We're in our Bibles. We have no children. We do really well. And so I'm feeling like devastated that I haven't really done anything. And here it is already Monday, and the administrator came to us to get back to us, and she was like, maybe God knew you needed to rest. He put you here in this situation. Maybe you needed a rejuvenation. And, that made us feel better. But again, not exactly what we expected, but you do what you can do in life on life's terms. So, Tuesday, we finally get to go and maybe get our boots on the ground and do something. And so we went to the school, and we mainly did cleanup after the hurricane. They did let us help there. The waters had receded, and so we were putting things back together. And then we also, the stuff we had brought, Shay and I made these bags, and these were to give to these women that we were going to serve. And, with toothbrushes, soaps, just toothpaste, things like that, deodorant, swimming products, whatever. We just made these bags for these women, the things that is extra for them. They don't buy those things, but those things don't feed their children. So they don't use those, or it's a luxury when they go get them. So we made these bags up for them. And so the first place we went was Mercy Workshop. I might be like 20 minutes.
You got 5 minutes.
I'm only on Tuesday, and I just started work. So we go to Mercy Workshop, and Mercy Workshop is a place where these women were women of the night. That's how they made their living. They latchkeyed their children. They were on the streets. They made enough money to go to the store, buy food for the kids, take it home, get some sleep, so that they could do it all over again. They lived day to day, just looking for food and how to survive. So the Mercy Workshop, they make jewelry, and they were actually trying to give these women, get them off the street for sure, but teach them how to have a job, get money, and maybe plan for the future. And this one lady, she got her first paycheck, right? And she went and bought a big bag of rice. So she's going to have food all week, maybe longer, for her family. Of course, here comes Hurricane Ian, gets the rice, and it's no good. And so Shay and I were like, we got to go buy rice, right? We got her a big bag of rice. So that's a little more where some of the money went. And so we did wellness checks on the women, literally advising them on their medications. The pharmacy's there, you don't have to have prescriptions, they don't have doctors. Sometimes they go to a doctor, the hospitals are sketchy, that's not really where you want to be. But Shay and I have 4 years nursing experience between us, so, we listen to them, we advise them, and then we figure out what meds they need. And then we literally, again, Vacation Bible School money, went to the pharmacy and bought these people things, some vitamin things, Propofol, blood pressure things, diabetes things that they didn't have. And of course in the States, that couldn't come from me, but in the DR, I can do that. So we went and we helped these women with this medicine. And we, you do the best you can. When you leave, that's not something that they're probably going to be compliant with or follow up with, but you plant the seed and you do your best. What I did want to say is when we prayed with these women, Haiti shares this island with the Dominican Republic. So there's a huge Haitian influence, and voodoo is alive and well in Haiti. And so these people, they literally see evil. And they have to decide every day, between good and evil. And here we think about being good or bad. And sometimes it's even retrospectively, maybe I shouldn't have done that, and we'll pray to God. But these people see and felt evil. and on a daily basis have to live with that. And so when we would pray with them and say their name in a prayer associated with God, just the impact on them, you could just feel it. It was just amazing. And they would soak that in. They would feel protected. It meant so much to them. And that just really impacted me. And so, I'm almost good. Okay.
You got a whole minute.
Okay. So that's what we did for that day. And these women were going to take these care packages back to other women that they were trying to get off the street. These are the women that they had successfully gotten off the street and were trying to get the jobs. So Wednesday we went to work at the school, and one of the things we had planned was this hand washing thing, and we got this germs and black light, and we had them wash their hands and show them black light, all this good stuff, being good nurse stuff for these kids. And this one little third grader raised his hand, and he's like, "Why is it all you Americans come over here to teach us how to wash our hands?" I'm like, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I said, well, that's just how important it is, and just kind of played it off like that. But we thought that was just really cute. So after we worked with several of the grades and we went through this, and then we did wellness checks on the employees there. And again, they come in one at a time, and we talk to them about their health. And you can't really, if someone has diabetes or high blood pressure, you can't tell them, okay, you need to eat better, because they're eating what they have, right? And you want them to, you need to drink more. Well, their water system's not good, so they have to buy filtered water, which isn't something that most of these people have that luxury for. But again, I felt like we're going to do the best we can. We talk to them about these things, and their fruits and things like that. The cattle, very lean. So, the cattle that we saw would have been taken up and sent to a little farm, and you would have gone to jail for animal cruelty, right? If that was in the United States. But this was their cattle that they had to eat. So, I didn't really eat a lot of meat. Anyway, so. Then after we did that, okay, so we went to we went to Lighthouse. Now let me tell you about Lighthouse. Lighthouse is where 13 to 17-year-old girls have been rescued. Again, remember they have this Haitian influence, and some of these girls were victims of ritualistic abuse, but very much abused, sold by their families into prostitution at young ages, as early as 12. And these are girls that have been rescued, and they were in this Lighthouse where they were taken to the school. And just, you can imagine the situation. And they were doing a great job with them. But of course, as a nurse, I'm thinking, these girls need counseling. They need the kind of counseling that they're never going to get. And so, again, a lot of prayers. And we did assessments on them. They wanted documented assessments in their files for the DR Vision is trying to do everything they can, for these kids. That was a very big, an important part of what they needed in files. So we did do that. We also went to, they showed us where the safe house was. So sometimes they literally have to rescue women and put them in a safe place. Because when you take these women off the streets, someone's going to be mad about that, right? So they had a safe house. And so we were privileged to actually be a part of all that. And I feel like we did a very small part of that. But I want you to know that the monies you sent, very important. The missionaries that were there live off $500 a month, right? And that's what they get paid for teaching or whatever they're given. And they can do housing and vehicles and all kinds of things for $500 a month. And they're considered wealthy, right? But they don't have luxuries. So, or afford themselves luxuries like peanut butter or cheeses or things like that. So we actually went to the store and they have stores down there. And the stores, kind of like in the little Gibsons, and then this one side would be like big bags of rice and everything. It was an interesting dynamic. So Shay and I, of course, we just wanted to like feed everybody and just buy whatever, because it was relatively inexpensive for us with US dollars that we converted to pesos when we got there, and so now we have all these pesos and we don't know what to do with them. One night we had a flat, and a guy came and helped us, and Shay's like, how much is it? And she tipped him, and they were like, how much did you give him? And I don't even remember how much it was, and like, oh my gosh, like 20 days in the whole day. And it was equivalent to like $10. And I'm like, no, if somebody helped me in the night on the side of the road, I'd give them whatever I had in my pocket, 20, 100, whatever. But, you know, we gave this guy a day's wages for helping us. And anyway, that's just one little small anecdote of our trip. But again, we were safe, we were blessed, and I hope that we were able to bless some people. And I'm done. Thank you all so much.